So Sony just released their new WH-CH710N ANC headphones, and these are Sony's new entry-level ANC headphones because they're replacing the 700Ns. But naturally, a lot of people want to know how these new entry-level ANC headphones stack up against Sony's mid-tier ANC headphones, the WH-XB900N, and Sony's premium ANC headphones, the WH-1000XM3s. But just as a heads up, I'm probably gonna have to do an updated version of this video in the near future, because we know the Sony 1000XM4s are right around the corner thanks to some FCC filings and some leaks. So if you want to see that updated video, you can click or tap up here, but nonetheless I do think the 710Ns are giving us a small preview as to what to expect from the Sony 1000XM4s. Now, first off, let's address price. The 710Ns have a retail price of $200, whereas the XB900N have a retail price of $250, and the 1000XM3s have a retail price of $350. But Sony's headphones routinely like to go on sale. Specifically, the XB900Ns can sometimes be found on sale for $178, and the 1000XM3s can routinely be found on sale for $278. And since the outgoing WH-CH710N routinely went on sale for $130, if not sometimes a little less on major shopping holidays, I expect the new 710Ns to get the same treatment as well. So, if you want to pick any of these headphones up, they'll be linked down below, and if you want to learn more about any of these headphones, please watch the full reviews. Next up, I want to address the included carrying cases on these headphones. Unfortunately, the 710Ns don't come included with a carrying case at all, which I think is a shame because the 710Ns are one of the few $200 ANC headphones out there that don't come included with a case or even a pouch. Whereas the XB900Ns do come included with a pouch, but I highly advise that you invest in a hard shell carrying case if you plan on commuting a lot with these headphones. But then there's the 1000XM3s, which come included with a decently small carrying case that also has a compartment so that you can keep your included accessories nicely organized. But more importantly, let's get into the fit and build quality on these headphones. Now, obviously, as you move up the ladder, these headphones are going to feel more premium. Even though the 710Ns have decent build quality, they might feel a little flimsy because their plastic body panels aren't as dense. Whereas the body panels on these other two headphones feel denser, but the 1000XM3s do feel a little more premium than the XB900N. Specifically because their ear cups have a soft touch feel to them, instead of the textured plastic found on the XB900N. Overall, all of these headphones have decent build quality, but one area where the XB900Ns really shine is when it comes to their leatherette. Like I mentioned in the full review, the leatherette on the 710Ns feels very coarse, and it actually feels way worse than the leatherette found on the outgoing 700Ns. And as a result, this coarse feeling leatherette can get itchy at times. And when it comes to the leatherette found on the 1000XM3s, like I've mentioned time and time before, the leatherette on these headphones feels very synthetic and really falls short when compared to other premium ANC headphones like the Bose NC700s and especially the Sennheiser Momentum 3s. But for mid-tier ANC headphones, the leatherette on the XB900Ns feels great, and it feels better than the leatherette found on the 1000XM3s, and the 710Ns don't even come close. And overall, if you are looking for the headphones here with maximum comfort, then you are better off with the XB900Ns. The earpads on the XB900Ns are wider than the earpads found on the 1000XM3s, and they're almost just as wide as the earpads found on the 710Ns. But since the ear cups on the XB900Ns are the deepest here, these ear cups feel the most spacious and they should be able to accommodate larger ears or ears that stick out a lot, much better than both the 1000XM3s and the 710Ns. For me, the 1000XM3s fit me just fine, but a little extra more room wouldn't hurt. Whereas since the 710Ns have very shallow ear cups, they do like to press down on my ears, so my ears might feel a little tender after long use sessions. Now, overall, all of these headphones are big head approved because none of them have an exaggerated amount of clamping force, but the XB900Ns are the most comfortable headphones here because they have the best feeling leatherettes and they also have the most spacious ear cups here. Now, when it comes to tech specs, all of these headphones charge via a USB-C port, which is great, especially if you're an Android user. And all of these headphones also have above average battery lives, even with their ANC turned on. Both the 1000XM3s and XB900Ns have an advertised battery life of 30 hours with their ANC turned on, whereas the 710Ns have an advertised battery life of 35 hours. But when it comes to fast charging numbers, both the 710Ns and XB900Ns will get you 1 hour of playback time from a 10-minute charge from a dead battery, whereas the 1000XM3s will get you 5 hours of playback time from that same 10-minute charge. Now, when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, all of these headphones can still only be connected to one device at a time. Sony still refuses to add simultaneous multi-device connectivity so that you can easily hot swap from one device to another like you can with a lot of other headphones out there. But when it comes to watching movies or videos on your phone, all of these headphones have zero latency on both iPhone and Android devices when you're using apps like Netflix, Disney Plus, or HBO Now. But I do want to point out that the 710Ns do have a slight latency to them whenever you try to watch YouTube videos on either device. But hopefully that latency will go away in the near future with a software update, because these other two headphones used to have that issue, but not anymore. But when it comes to audio codecs, both the 1000XM3s and XB900Ns have LDAC, aptX, aptX HD, and AAC support, whereas the 710Ns top out at AAC. But nonetheless, thanks to some leaks, it does look like the 1000XM4s will also be losing aptX support. Ultimately, if you're an iPhone user, this doesn't really matter because you're going to be using AAC anyways, but if you're an Android user, it looks like Sony's done with aptX, so you're either going to have to use AAC or Sony's own LDAC. But I do want to quickly point out that all of these headphones still have an audio jack. Now, I know this sounds basic, but I do gotta point it out because some companies are starting to get rid of the audio jack on their headphones. Some companies do it to save money, and other companies do it because they're trying to push this all-wireless future like Apple did with their Beats Solo Pro, which personally I do think was a mistake. But I also gotta point out that the USB-C port on all of these headphones are strictly used for charging. You can't use the USB-C port on these headphones as a wired connection like you can on some other headphones out there like the Sennheiser Momentum 3s or the Bowers Wilkins PX7s. But now let's talk about listening to music with these headphones, because all of these headphones perform very differently from one another. First off, I gotta point out that the 710Ns don't connect to Sony's headphones app like these other two headphones. So you can't customize how the 710Ns sound to your liking. And personally, I think it's ridiculous that Sony cut app support for these headphones, and I'm just not a fan of the stock EQ you're stuck with on the 710Ns. The 710Ns have a very bass-heavy EQ, but these headphones put such an emphasis on the lows that if you want to actually hear the mids and vocals on these headphones, you gotta crank them all the way up. And even though these headphones have a bass-heavy EQ, the bass on these headphones doesn't really physically rattle your head all that much. The bass on these headphones is mostly on the audible side. Ultimately, I don't really like listening to music with these headphones because they sound too shallow for my taste. And if you're someone that likes a neutral or brighter sound signature, then you definitely want to stay away from these headphones. Now, when it comes to listening to music with the 1000XM3s or XB900N, that's a different story. Since both of these headphones connect to Sony's app, you can customize their EQ and make them sound however you want. If you like a bass-heavy EQ, you can do that, or if you like a neutral EQ, you can also do that. Now, when it comes to audio performance like soundstage, instrument separation, and clarity, these two headphones perform the same. But what really separates these headphones audio performance wise is their bass. The XB900Ns are a part of Sony's extra bass headphone lineup. So you can crank the bass up on these headphones through their app to the point where they're going to physically rattle your head a crazy amount. And the extra bass feature on the XB900N is a lot of fun to listen to, and it also adds an extra level of immersion when you use these headphones to watch movies with. But the important thing about the XB900Ns is that even if you crank their bass up, you can also make sure that you can still hear the mids. Now, the 1000XM3s also have a decent amount of physical bass to them, and they should be able to satiate most people. But having the bass on the 1000XM3s set to 10 is like having the bass on the XB900N set to 4. So if you like a lot of bass in your music, you're clearly better off with the XB900N. But even still, if you like a more neutral EQ, then the XB900Ns can also do that because you can just lower their bass through their app. So overall, I don't like how the new 710N sound because to me, they sound very shallow, whereas with these other two headphones, you have the freedom to adjust them to your liking. But personally, I do prefer the XB900N because you've got that extra bass feature for whenever you want to use it. But I also want to quickly address controlling your music playback with these headphones. The 710Ns are still using physical buttons, and that's perfectly fine because some people still prefer to use physical buttons. But both the XB900N and 1000XM3s have touchpads, and Sony's touchpads are one of the best ones out there. They're easy to use and they're very accurate, so you don't really have to worry about using the touchpads on these headphones because I know some people are still a little hesitant on using touch controls on headphones. So I think it's pretty clear that I am not a fan of how the 710N sound. But something that I can't deny is that the 710Ns have very impressive ANC performance for a pair of $200 entry-level ANC headphones. The ANC on the 710Ns is so good that it actually managed to slightly outperform the ANC on the XB900N. Now, you would think that Sony would want to make sure that the ANC on their $250 headphones would outperform the ANC on their $200 headphones, but they don't. But so that you can see for yourself, we're going to jump into an ANC test. So, like you may have just seen, the 710Ns block out a little more noise than the XB900N in both constant low frequency sounds like road noise and random higher frequency sounds like chatter. But as you can clearly see, the 1000XM3s block out way more noise, which is their claim to fame. The 1000XM3s still have the best performing active noise cancellation as of mid-2020. Which is impressive because there have been a lot of competitors that have came out ever since the 1000XM3s were first released in the tail end of 2018. But the ANC performance on the 710Ns does have me really excited for the ANC performance improvements we might see on the 1000XM4s. If Sony is confident enough to put this potent of active noise cancellation on their entry-level ANC headphones, we might be in for a treat with the 1000XM4s. But performance-wise, all of Sony's ANC headphones have zero to no cabin pressure, and there is no hissing in the background. So you don't gotta worry about feeling like you're underwater with these headphones on, like you might feel with some older or cheaper ANC headphones out there. Specifically, the ANC on the first Bose QC35 is always used to give me headaches. Now, all of Sony's headphones also have an ambient mode where instead of blocking out noise, they'll let noise in so that you can still be aware of your surroundings. For like when you're walking around the city, or if you're watching Tiger King at home, you can still hear when someone calls your name. And again, the ambient mode on all of Sony's headphones have zero hissing in the background, they all sound natural, and they all do a good job of rejecting wind noise when walking outdoors. The only thing to keep in mind is that you can't adjust how much noise the 710Ns let in, like you can with these other two headphones. And also, only the 1000XM3s have an active ambient mode, meaning that they will actively block out sudden spikes in loud noises, preventing jump scares, whereas these other two headphones just let in everything. And finally, only the XB900N and 1000XM3s have quick attention, where if you cover their touchpad, they'll lower the volume of your music and let in all of the ambient sound so that you can quickly talk to someone without having to take your headphones off like this. And when you let go, the headphones will go back to normal. But rumor has it that the Sony 1000XM4s will have this new feature to them called Speak to Chat, where if you just start talking to someone, the headphones will do what quick attention does, but with the 1000XM4s, you won't have to keep the touchpad covered. Nonetheless, this is simply a rumor, but I do think quick attention has some room for improvement, because other headphones out there that have a similar feature, like the Bose NC700s, don't require you to keep their ear cup covered. You just push a button on them and you're hands-free. And finally, here's the microphone test, and this is an area where Sony has always really struggled with. Specifically, the 1000XM3s does sound pretty muffled, especially when you compare them to their direct competitors, the Bose NC700s. Whereas the WH-CH710Ns have a lot more amplification to them, but they still sound muffled or a little shallow because they're not actually focusing on just your voice. But I do think the XB900Ns have the best sounding microphone here because they don't sound over amplified like the 710Ns, and they do a much better job of bringing out your voice. But with all that being said, it is very easy for me to recommend the Sony XB900N. The XB900Ns have great build quality, they're the most comfortable headphones here, they have a solid ambient mode, they sound good, and they have that extra bass feature if you want it. The only area where these headphones are straggling a little bit here is when it comes to their active noise cancellation. But if you are interested in the best active noise cancellation, then obviously you're better off with the 1000XM3s. But just keep in mind, the 1000XM4s are right around the corner as of recording this video. But if you're watching this even after the 1000XM4s have released and you're still interested in the 1000XM3s because you might want to save a little bit of cash, then these headphones are still very solid. And finally, there's the WH-CH710N. Even though they are decent for entry-level ANC headphones and they have above average ANC performance for entry-level ANC headphones, for me, they're not as easy to confidently recommend like the XB900Ns, because the 710Ns don't fit as well or sound as good. The ear pads can get a little itchy, their shallow ear cups can press down on your ears, and I'm not a fan of their bass-heavy sound signature. If the 710Ns are on steep discount, then sure, go ahead and get them. But I feel it would be smarter if you invest the extra bit of cash and at least get yourself the XB900N. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit that like button and get subscribed. It helps out more than you realize. If you want to pick any of the products up mentioned in this video, those will be linked in the description down below, and you can also support the channel by checking out the merch store. But other than that, I'll catch you next time.